So what we saying, lads? Jack here, and welcome back to another custom tactics video on the channel. Of course, I've had a few of you ask for this one. It's the 4-4-2, ladies and gentlemen. I don't really know what I've done there, but we're going to roll with it. We've got a 4-4-2 setup here. This isn't how we play it in game. This isn't even how we position it in game. It's close, but it's not how we position it in game. I'm going to be getting into that soon, but obviously I want to say thank you for the incredible support on my first custom tactics video, the 4-1-2-1-2 brackets 2. I've actually received a lot of good feedback off people using my tactics and getting some really good results, so props to you if you're doing that. And if you do request a formation for me to make some custom tactics on, being an Elite 1 player, I sort of know my gist of the game. I know what formations are going to work, and even a formation that doesn't work, I'll try and, you know, move some tactics around to try and get it to work, essentially. But if you use my tactics, let me know. Please subscribe, because I know a lot of you that watch these videos aren't subscribed to the channel, and it really does help push my content out a lot. So if we could hit 20 likes again, or let's say 30 likes, why not? Because the last one hit 30 likes. We'll go 30 likes and just subscribe to the channel. It would mean a lot. But anyway, 4-4-2. Let's get into this one, lads. You know what? First one to comment that they've used these tactics, I'll pin it. Why not? There we go. That's that done. So straight into this, no nonsense, boys. I'll explain how you're going to want to set up your positions after I've shown the tactics. So if we move into our 4-4-2 setup, we move into where we actually play the players, and how I've done this is I have an 86 centre back Walker and a Dumfries, which I switch in game. Obviously Walker having that like 93 pace or whatever, and Dumfries having that 85, which is enough for a centre back, and Walker switches with Dumfries, where Dumfries goes in the middle, because he's a bit taller, he's a bit more clunky, I guess. So I like Walker, having him out wide. I think he operates better there, as opposed to Dumfries. I do like Walker at centre back a lot. I think he's probably the best centre back on the game, but in this scenario I have to play him at right back in order to fit Robin and Dumfries in the squad. Essentially, you're going to want fast fullbacks, essentially fast fullbacks with good stamina, who can run for the whole game. Ferland Mendy, of course, probably the best left back on the game, including Icons, and Walker, obviously a top tier right back. Also someone like Semedo works very well, or I don't know, maybe that Kleiber card, whatever you're doing. And then you're going to want two good centre backs. Make sure, if possible, they can be really quick. I'm only using Casemiro because he's untradeable. Ideally here, you obviously get yourself a Varane and Joe Gomez, really fast, really OP. And yeah, so realistically, if I have Varane and Joe Gomez here, they do a lot better job than Casemiro and Dumfries. But like I said before, I do like to have a little bit of fun on the game. So yeah, that's pretty much that. So we're going to move on to your right and left mids. What kind of players do you want for these positions before we get into the tactics? Robin, basically skills. I like to have 5-star skills, and I like to have just bags of pace, good dribbling, and passing that's going to be adequate for a winger, because obviously they run down the wing, you're going to want to cut inside, etc. They need to have good passing, they need to have good pace, they need to have good dribbling. On to the two centre mids, you want some you want one specifically that's complete box to box, ideal perfect centre mid. An example of this is this Firmino card, probably the best one you're going to get on the game. Apart from Icons, you got Bruno Fernandes, I would say his headliner card or something like that, or one of his informs even. Just someone who can box to box, they can defend, they can shoot, they can pass, they can run, and of course they need to be able to dribble, but mainly you want them interceptions to be good. And obviously with the defensive upgrade, this Firmino is absolutely fantastic. I've not used him yet, but I've seen so many reviews on him, and just going off of his stats alone, it's perfect. And obviously I have used this formation and tactics before, I just haven't used a few of these players, but operating on my knowledge of the formation and how it works, that's what we're going to go off of. So the second centre mid, you're noticing is probably a weird one. Ideally, again here, you want another box to box. For example, Renato Sanchez, but I'm trying to save for Team of the Year at the minute to have a massive pack opening, as you guys know. So I'm not going to be forking out money on Renato Sanchez, but I have this Kante untradeable. I will show you in the player instructions in a bit. One of these centre-backs is supposed to go and stay back while attacking, just to cover you a bit defensively. So Firmino is more of my attacking-minded centre-mid, and Kante is more of my defensive-minded centre-mid. But ideally, you want two centre-mids that can sort of do both. So the ideal pairing here is like Bruno Fernandes, Renato Sanchez, Firmino, Renato Sanchez, or obviously when you get in the big bucks, it's Huller and Vieira. Those sort of players, and obviously you're going to have the Team of the Years to come soon, like KDB, Bruno. They're going to be absolutely phenomenal for this role. So that's essentially the midfield and defence. And the two strikers, basically I've put Mbappe over Neymar on the wing, purely because I like my two strikers to have 5-star weak foot, and ideally 5-star skills, but 5-star weak foot is very important as well, just for that unpredictability. And Mbappe's a bit faster, so I'd like him to be on the wing so he can exploit the fullbacks a little bit better. Basically, you just want your attackers to have 5-star weak foot so they can bang in goals from any angle, any foot. It just makes them a lot more unpredictable. That's why I play Neymar at striker over Mbappe, despite the fact this shooting isn't quite as good. Anyways, on to the custom tactics. This is probably what you guys have been waiting for. These and the player instructions. So, I play balanced. I actually do play balanced, and I play 4 width, 4 depth. Now, the 4 width is pretty self-explanatory. I don't know if that was English, what I just said, but you want your depth. You don't want your players to be too tucked in, being on like 3 depth, but you really don't want them to be out wide because you leave yourself really exposed to those over the... they're so overpowered. The through balls, they make me feel sick thinking about them. So I'm not even going to speak on them. You already know what I'm talking about. But the 4 width is handy because it's a nice happy median of both of those. And then depth is all about your play style again. Like for me, if I'm trying to have a bit of fun, I would put this on like 6 because that's where I play, and I can like really get my TIKI-TAKA football sort of going, you know, flowing. But realistically, if you're trying to win games, which is why I make these tactic videos to help you guys win, 4, it's not drop back, it's not ratty, but it's just enough so you're not going to get exploited enough, you know, on those balls. If you wanted to play it a bit safer, you go 2 depth or 3 depth, and it's not ratty, I wouldn't say, to go 2 or 3 depth, because the amount of people that do these horrendous through balls, and it's just an absolute nightmare to play against. You don't want to be dealing with that. If you're not in the mood, go 2 depth. If, you know, you're feeling a bit fruity, go 3 depth. But if you want to just play it safe and play, you know, that middle ground like I'm sort of advising you, I'd say to do, I'd go 4 depth, because you do also need to learn how to defend those through balls, and I feel like you're more inclined to force yourself to learn that if you've got a bit of a higher line, because you're going to need to mark those runs yourself. So, and of course I do play balanced. You could also play probably pressure on heavy touch or drop back if you really wanted to. It's completely up to you. I'm not going to call you out if you play drop back. Do what you want, but me personally, I'm a guy who likes to play balanced. Now, offensive style, we also go balanced. I don't like to go fast build up. I don't like to go long ball. The only other one that is really good with this is possession. If you do like to keep that possession and play it around your opponent's box, if they're a drop back, you know, if they're on some crazy drop back stuff with, you know, 10 men inside the box, you can go on possession and you can just sort of pass it around the edge of the box until you finally see that opening, then you cut through and score. But for me, again, balance, because not everyone plays like that. And then I go 6 depth because obviously it's a bit of a wider formation. You do want your players to sort of spread out a little bit more, to offer you that attacking width and diversity that the 4-1-2-1-2 actually doesn't offer you. On the 6 depth, you can take advantage of both the width and the strikers. So I think it's a nice balance. And then players in box 5, and this goes back to what I was talking about Kante earlier. Because I play one of my centre mids on balanced, which is Firmino, and then I'll play Kante, or for you it'd be like Renato Sanchez or something if you can afford him, on stay back. That means you've got your attacking centre mid, your left mid, your right mid, and your 2 strikers. That's the 5 players, and they're going to be sort of up playing it around your opponent's box, and it offers you a lot of options in the attack that, I don't know, maybe a 4-1-2-1-2 wouldn't offer you, because, you know, the centre mids that I was using didn't really offer that attacking presence as much. But yeah, you've got those 5. It's 5. Now, you are susceptible obviously to counter attacks, but if you play it smart and you don't give the ball away really stupidly all the time, then I think you'll be fine. And then corners and free kicks, again, you can play these on 5 if you want. You can play these on 1 if you want. I just find 2 and 2 is a nice balance. On my corners, I never actually whip them into the box. I pass it short and then pass it to the edge of the box. That's how I get a lot of my goals, actually, playing from corners, you know, a bit more smart. The free kicks, it doesn't matter, because again, I use the free kick where you fake the first man and run and pass it on. So that's the custom tactics. Pretty simple. Again, I've given you some options if you do want to change it about a bit, but for the most part, I'd probably stick with how I've ran that. And then finally, to close off the video, on to the custom tactics now. So we're going to start off up front now, and we actually have no custom tactics on the strikers. I don't like to put stay forward on the strikers. I don't like to put get in behind on the strikers, because getting behind, they could be making these stupid runs. I find that on getting behind, you can trigger a manual run using L1 or LB on Xbox. I don't need my players to do that for me. If I want them to go on a run, I'll send them on a run, or, you know, doing like the LB pass. And I'm not going to put stay forward on these guys either. And the reason being is because, you know, stay forward inclines are more to make those runs. Sometimes, you know, I would like Kenny to come back and sort of ask for the ball to feet and then play it into Neymar. If they're both forward, you know, and they're right pressing the defensive line, it's going to be really hard sometimes to make a nice ball to them because the defender is just going to hop in front of him and intercept it. So I don't like to put tactics on my strikers because I do like the idea and the sort of thought process of them being able to do sort of everything in the attack, as opposed to being like one-dimensional, running at the defensive line, pressing the defenders until they eventually crack. And if you're playing a really good player, they're going to know how to defend players like this. So that's why I'd advise you playing these very balanced. We're going to go on to the left and right mid. And again, I do nothing on these apart from getting to the box for cross. You don't need to change the width because they're going to stay wide anyway. You do want them to cut inside. If I'm running in with Robin, I do want Mbappe to come through and be that sort of fourth other man that I have an option to pass to. That's about it for that. And then I can pass it back out wide to Mbappe, you know, switch the wings, all of that sort of stuff. So I do operate the same on Mbappe, which is getting to the box across, nothing else. Onto the midfielders, like I said before, cover centre on these two because, again, you don't need these guys to cover wings like you do on the 4-1-2-1-2. You've already got enough players on the wing. You know, you've got 4 players out wide, essentially. You got 1, 2, then you got your 3, 4, and then these obviously can drift a bit wide occasionally on the attack if their ball is in your opposition's half. So then you've got your 4 in the middle, essentially, with these 4, your 2 centre mids and your 2 centre backs, and then you've got your 4 out wide with these 2. So I've got stay back while attacking and then balanced on 1, like I said before, and cover centre. And then finally, to finish off this custom tactics video, stay back while attacking on both fullbacks and of course the centre backs. You guys already knew that. You knew that was coming, but that's pretty much the end of this video. And if you do want a new formation, just comment below what one you want me to do next, and I'll give it a run out in Foot Champs, and then I'll try and work out the ins and outs and the best tactics, etc. to use. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. I do really appreciate it. Drop a like, drop a sub. Almost at 4K. Hopefully we can hit it by the end of January. I'm pretty sure we can though. But nevertheless, I'm going to leave the video there. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.